In December of 2011, my mom filed for divorce from my stepdad. At this time, we were unaware of the hardships that we were about to face with fighting for custody of my youngest sister. The Children's Equal and Shared Parenting Act was put into legislation in April of 2012. This act states that any parent fighting for 50-50 custody will be given the equal chance of having, at the minimum, 45.1% of parenting time with the child. This act overrides the best interest of the child and in some cases disregards cases of abuse and neglect. The Children's Equal and Shared Parenting Act is harmful to the child involved and does not take the child's best interest close enough into consideration. Now, the three main points I will be touching base on are: the child is forced into harmful situations that may be uncomfortable for them, parents with history of domestic violence should not be awarded custody, and mental and physical ability scans should be mandatory if this bill is to be put into place. Now, the first point I would like to touch base on is that the child is forced into uncomfortable situations. Michael Dittburner from Minnesota House of Representatives found that with this bill, the parent who wants 50-50 custody is given a higher priority than what is in the best interest for the child. Now, in this case, the best interest of the child states that the child should be able to be in an intimate situation with the parent and feel comfortable knowing that they are with that parent. They also should be able to feel comfortable in their home, their school, their community. Now, if they're not able to feel comfort in this, their stress and anxiety levels will rise and will actually cause substantial harm to their well-being. Now, to continue, domestic violence parents with history of domestic violence should not be able to have child custody at all. Not only does the child fall victim to things such as depression and suicide, but problems outside of the home that carry on into their schooling. Allison C. Morrell found that parents with history of domestic violence and that their children are exposed to cause their children to exhibit more externalizing and internalizing behaviors and cognitive or academic behaviors. So again, this includes suicide, depression, anxiety, phobias, fears, bedwetting, anything along those lines. And in their schooling, they struggle academically and socially and cannot fit in properly like they should be at their age level. With the domestic violence, one fact that is important to remember is that they don't even need to visually see that the domestic violence is happening, but even just witnessing it and hearing it or being around it, they know that it's happening, and these problems can still arise and still cause substantial harm. So in this case, the best interest of the child is not being put into place because they're being put with this parent that is causing them to have depression and suicide. Despite this act being put into place, parents with cases of disabilities are highly overlooked. With this act in place, I think that it should be required for mental and physical disability scans and any type of addictions to be played into consideration and really be examined before a child is placed with them. Now, in the best interest of the child should be placed with a parent who can care for them and take care of them in the ways that is needed in order for human beings to survive efficiently. Now, if someone has a disability where they can't fully take care of themselves in a way that is sufficient, how are they supposed to take care of a second human being, if not more than that, with the children, and take care of them in a sufficient way that will keep them healthy and keep them happy? Now, in this case, I feel that it is very harmful to the child to be put into this situation. Now, to touch base, my three main points. It is harmful to the child to be placed in uncomfortable situations. Domestic violence causes things such as depression and suicide, and should not ever be the parent should not ever be given custody of that child. And disability scans should be mandatory if this bill is to be put into place. Now, personally, my family fell victim to this act earlier in this year. My youngest sister was placed into a situation with her father that she was not comfortable enough with, causing problems with stress and anxiety within her. She has recently started counseling in order to deal with this. My younger sister went from a happy, smiling little girl to someone who is constantly filled with hatred and worry 24/7. Now, the Children's Equal and Shared Parenting Act should be removed from legislation and let the best interest of the child be put back in place of where the child should be placed. The Family Law section of the Minnesota State Bar Association testified against the proposal back in April and is willing and preparing to fight against this act again in the future.